Right, so I just wanted to show you the quality of the Kellermann Attos themselves. Really nice box or case that it comes in. Pretty much got everything you could need in here. Comes with 2 heat sinks, tidy up your wiring, two metal connectors as well, so you could really do a nice job on your wiring with that. Nice long cable and a nut and a bolt if you needed to secure it to anything. Really good quality bit of kit. I mean, you get what you pay for with these Kellermanns. They are quite expensive, but for me they are definitely worth the money. Just want to have a look at the mount that I bought from the Kellermann company. No frills casing, just in a little bag, but really well engineered case. That is so small, so neat. It fits right in onto the bike. And then just quite simply, the Kellermann Atto fits in there. Wiring pops out the back. Okay, and then it just screws into position there. Really well engineered, so nice and small. I can't wait to put this on the bike. Alright, so these are the tools I used throughout the whole thing. This is probably the biggest one I used. Well, I used the most anyway. It was a 5mm Allen key. 2mm Allen key was used on the mounts. 10mm spanner was used to get the bolts and nuts off the mounts themselves and then replace them. Screwdriver, posi head, wire cutters, and some black tape. Right, so the plan then, take this off, get the wire in, run the wires up behind the handlebar, and they'll pop out just here. I'll put the mount on there with the Kellermann Atto, wire it all in, and we should be good to go. So first things first then, need to disconnect the battery and undo this Allen key, take the case off, and then undo the positive terminal, and I'll do that now. Okay then, so I've just started to undo this bolt. Need an Allen key, size 5 Allen key to undo that. Bottom part pops off, take the case off, and then we'll start to look at the live. If you want to see a full video of how to remove the battery in a battery case, then check out one of my other videos. There you go, so bottom's come loose. Just pull the case out. That'll give me access now to the live, and then I'm just going to disconnect the live terminal. No need to take the battery fully out, just enough to undo the live. Okay, so I've just put a 10mm spanner in there and started to undo it. Use my fingers now. And then once that's out, I'll do a check to ensure that it's definitely no battery connected. Alright, so that's the live connection off, and I've just covered it up, look, so that it can't touch the battery itself and then potentially make contact while we're working on the electrics itself. Alright, just checking. There we are, nothing, no power, nothing on the bike end, so it's dead. So now we can start to work on removing this and then disconnecting the wiring. Okay, so to get the front indicator off itself then, size 5 Allen key, and then just loosen off the mount. Let's undo it all the way. It's quite tricky with one hand. One hand's recording. There you go. Okay, then I'm just going to pull the mount off and have a look. Okay, so that's the mount came off, and literally just spread these two apart and it comes off easy enough. Turn it over. Okay, and you can see the wire end that I want to get to is housed inside this housing, so I'm going to take this little nut off here, or bolt, get that off. Hopefully then it'll give me access so I can disconnect this front indicator. Looks like a size 5 again. Let's test it. Oh no. Yes, it is size 5. Okay, I'll undo that now. Alright, so I removed that bolt, popped that off. Thought I was going to be able to get it from there, but it's not quite that easy. So all you have to do now is twist this off and the bulb will come out. So I'll just do that. I can't do it and video at the same time, so just give me 2 secs. Okay, so we just twisted that bulb away from the casing, and there we are. I can get the wires. I'm just going to disconnect those wires off of this bulb and pull them through, so I'm left with this end here. Yeah, so just disconnected the bulb, pull the casing away from the wires now, feed it through. Come on. Come on. It should just be coming through. Okay, so this is a lot harder than I first thought, unless you pull them out individually. Okay, so pull first, one out. And the second one, it's just caught in something. Okay, there it is, it's coming. There we are. That's away from the mount. Pull this off. Okay, now just need to feed that up into underneath the handlebar, and we can mount it. Okay then, so you need to get a flathead screwdriver in there and then remove this little nut here. I've already loosened it off just for the purpose of this. Okay, right, so that's the nut removed off there. Now we need to pull this screw back so that it's nice and flush with the metal here. Alright, so just pull that screw, or bolt, sorry, pull that bolt all the way back so it's nice and flush. Once that's done, place the mount on there and then tighten the bolt up onto the Kellermann mount. It's important that you get it nice and flush and nice and tight, because if it's not flush when you start tightening the bolt, you won't be able to tighten the mount onto that bolt. I'll do that now. Okay, so that's the mounting position. Look, it's quite loose. Just gonna tighten that up. Don't want to damage the light, so push that out of the way. There we are. And then tighten it right up so that that's forward facing. That's where the Atto is actually going to finish. Now I'm going to do a quick test before I cut the wire and etc. I'm going to connect that up to the original parts. Black is live, grey or white on the original bike is neutral. I'm going to connect them up, put the battery back on, and then do a test. Alright, so I've just connected these up. Look, I haven't gone through any detail on this. I've literally just got metal to metal contact. Make sure the live and the negative stay away from each other, or the poles and the neg. You don't want them two to touch now when you put the battery together, so just keep them apart. Alright, there we are. So I've just put the screw back into the battery. Look, the bike's started up. I'm going to check the front lights now. So you can see the difference here already. Look how the size difference on the indicators. Actually quite like that position of that mount as well. Let's see what the difference is like. I mean, it's smaller, but I don't know, I like it. I like it a lot more. Right, just have to tidy all this up now, so all this wiring now, I'll just cut the wires down to suit and then solder these connections up so it's more permanent. Then I'll cover it all in black tape and then run the wiring where the existing wiring is. It should look all good to go. Alright, so what I've done there is just cut the wires off the Attos all the way back, just enough that I need, with a little bit extra in case I get it wrong. Stripped the wires to reveal a bit of the metal, and now I'm just going to solder black to black, white to grey. Alright, so that's them in position now. I've soldered them together. I mean, you don't have to solder them, it just gives it a really good solid connection that's not going to get knocked off or come loose. What I'm going to do now is tape all this up into black tape and then run that cable where the other cables go on the bike. Okay, so it's all nice and taped up now. I'm just going to run that cable in where the existing wiring actually goes. Okay, so you can see there I've just clipped it in to this metal hook. I'm going to run that up. Turn it on. Undo this strap here and then put the cable onto that strap with the existing cables and this strap, and then it should be good. Right, so to disconnect the wiring, you need to remove the light itself by twisting anti-clockwise and pulling out at the same time. Okay, so I'm gonna do that now. Okay, so I've twisted that off now. I'm just gonna disconnect the wiring here. So just note there, look, the way the wires are on there. This looks like it's the opposite way around, right? So the plus is the white and the negative is the black. Strange. Okay, so that's how now we're going to wire up the Kellermann Attos. Alright, so we're over onto the clutch lever now. It's a slightly different setup to the brake lever. So you've got a where is it? There it is. Got a screw there and a 10 bolt on the other side. On this side you've got an Allen key bolt with the nut on the other side. So it's a size 5 Allen key you need, and a 10mm spanner. Okay, I've already loosened them off. Okay, take that out and then place on the Kellermann mount. It should just screw onto there. Okay, so I've snipped the wires, got these back, look, twisted them up. I put a bit of I call it tinning, so put some solder on the wire in there, put the wires into their housing, so black to black. I'll solder it up again, make it a better connection with the soldering iron and the solder, and I'll tape it all up. That's what I should have said earlier. These Kellermann mounts can be switched around. We've got this little Allen key on the back which loosens it off, and then you can flip that either way, so you can go on left or right mounted just by switching out at the back there. I've only just figured that out, as when I went to mount it, it wasn't going to be perfectly symmetrical on this side. Alright, so I've just turned that around now. When I put it into position, it should be nice and symmetrical. Just tighten that up. Okay, and now that'll match the other side.